When I was studying construction management, a professor taught that an important goal of a house is to keep the water out of the house. But I thought, like, all these funky things that happens with water, if we could control it in some way, we could get energy or harvest water or something out of these weird things that happens, because if the insulation's not like equal or something, weird things happen, and maybe there's like condensation on one part because the insulation is not equal across the whole roof or something like that. So I thought of technologies where maybe the warm air on the inside would be drawn to the outside of the building because the outside may be cooler, or the outside may be hotter, so it's coming in, and the moisture in the air could be drawn out or something, and we could harvest the water or the moisture from the inside or outside of the building. But I was really attracted to this article that I'm going to talk about because the technology is very similar to what I imagined. This company is called the Clean Wind Energy Incorporated. When I was thinking about this technology, I imagined also that if you have this big wall, you could somehow isolate and have a cooler area within a building or something, and the differential between the temperature outside and within the wall, you could maybe make wind or have water condensate or something and collect water.
Mm-hmm.
But the design is they'll be able to generate wind by having this tower. It's kind of like a big tube. And they will have this big tower dedicated to making energy from solar power. What will happen is that they're trying to isolate the temperature within this big tower from the outside, and they're going to try to cool it down from the inside naturally by spraying water across the top of the top area of the tower. And as the water sprayed at the top of the tower evaporates, the temperature of the air within the building cools down, and it gets more dense, and it builds up pressure within the tower. What happens is that there is wind turbines at the bottom. So when the air pushes out, they approximate it could be about 50 miles an hour. The wind of the pressure within it will push the air out, and it'll turn the wind turbines, and it'll generate electricity. Does that make sense?
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool because you don't even need wind. You could build this in the middle of nowhere. There's no wind. You don't even need any wind at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they expect that this could generate. Yeah, I'll read a quote from them. They'll say, the first tower in Arizona has a projected output on an hourly basis of up to 1,000 megawatt hours gross. Yeah, and when I was in Texas, I helped build a 13 megawatt plant, and this is like 100 times more powerful. And yeah, Using a 70% capacity factor, the tower's potential hourly yield is that it would be 700 megawatt hours, from which approximately 17% will be used to power its operations, yielding approximately 600 megawatt hours available to sell to the grid. And another quote, it says, one tower is equivalent to at least one nuclear power plant. But here's the difference, of course. You don't have nuclear issues. You don't have the safety issues. You don't have spent nuclear rods. You don't have the storage issue. These towers, apparently, they last forever. All you are using is water, evaporation, wind gradients, and presto. You do have the energies that produced through turbines and generators. So what we're talking about is water and wind at free will. And yeah, so does that make sense to you, Trevor?
I don't know the details, but it makes sense that it's not wind powered, but it's creating wind power.
Yeah, it's using solar power to create wind. And yeah, they're working on building their first tower. They're in this contest. They're semi-finalists in an event called Future Energy Pitching. It's an event hosted by ARPA-E in Washington, D.C. called... it's part of the Energy Innovation Summit. And yeah, I thought this is cool because I have thought of technology similar to this, and it's actually being used. The natural solar energy, you could manipulate the natural energies that we have in the atmosphere and create wind and energy from it, from buildings, like I imagined.
Yeah, you should have been on the team.
Yeah. I kind of worked at trying to pitch this ideas to some people, but not many people are creating technologies.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they'll hear me and hire me. Probably not.
Yeah, maybe if you tag him in Twitter or something.
Yeah. Yep, that's my topic.